Guy at the country gun counter asked me, "What do you carry right now?" And I answered like an idiot, confident, loud, like my opinion mattered. Then I walked out, sat in the truck, and realized I didn't even believe it, because the guns I talked about weren't the ones I actually grabbed when I ran late, when my shirt stuck to my back, when my hands got slick, when my brain didn't feel sharp. The safe picks sounded great until somebody put a timer on me and it turned into a little embarrassment show in front of people, and that wasn't even the worst of it. So this list stayed simple. Not hype, not nostalgia, not best on paper. Just the handguns you actually end up relying on. The ones you need when you don't get a second chance. And yeah, number one isn't the fancy answer. It's the one that made everything else feel like excuses. Dry Texas afternoon, range was dust and brass, and that hot, dead air where nobody felt friendly. 2 lanes over, a guy ran a Walther PDP Compact like it owed him money. Not good shooting, it was too clean. Sights came back like they were on rails. No little human fixes, no pause to find it, just flat recoil, fast splits, and holes stacking where they shouldn't. People started leaning without meaning to, heads turning, that quiet magnet thing. One dude finally asked casual, "Hey, mind if I try that?" The guy didn't smile, didn't joke, just shut it down. "Nah, still working it in." Bullshit. Nothing about what I watched looked in progress. It looked finished. Like the gun did half the work, and he didn't want witnesses. Later, when it thinned out, I got rounds through a different PDP Compact. Cold. No warm-up. Draw, press, clean break. Next shot, the dot just came back home. It settled fast enough to make me feel dangerous. And I didn't like how fast it made me comfortable, because when something settles that quick, it takes one problem off your plate when everything else is already going wrong. That's why it's a need. Not because it's cool, because it's forgiving when you're not. Still, anything that flatters you that fast usually hides teeth. I walked out wondering when it stopped flattering me, because the next one didn't feel easy at all. The X-Macro made me lazy, not on the trigger, on the decision. It made carrying feel so easy that I stopped asking the hard question, why did my better gun keep staying home? Because there was a pistol I carried all the time. Bigger, proven, the one I answered with when somebody asked what I trusted most, and nothing went wrong with it. No failures, no scary moment, no excuse. I just stopped picking it up. Didn't even notice at first. A couple days turned into a week, then longer. And every time I left the house, the Sig P365 X-Macro ended up on my belt instead. At first I told myself it was convenience. Lighter, easier, temporary. Like I was cheating on the real gun, and I'd go back once the novelty wore off. Then it hit me. I wasn't going back, because the X-Macro didn't feel like a smaller option. It felt complete, enough grip to control it, rounds that I didn't feel underfed, enough confidence that my carry brain shut up. And that's why it's a need right now. It actually gets carried when life's moving fast and you don't get to be picky. That pissed me off, because if this does everything I need, what does that say about the gun I claimed I trusted more? And what came after that? It didn't feel complete at all. Dude, shut up about CZs. That was me in the parking lot. Jeet had been on this CZ kick for weeks. Same speech, different day. It stopped sounding like advice and started sounding like recruitment. So I cut him off. All right, bring the one that proves it. He shows up and drops a CZ07 on the bench. Like it's a tool, not a trophy. No grin, no pitch. Try this first. Now I'm trapped. If it sucks, I get to laugh. If it runs, I get to eat it. We step up and I run it cold. Fast strings, reload, do it again. The pace where most pistols start showing attitude. A weird hiccup, a bounce, something. First mag, nothing happened, no drama, no fighting the grip, no, wait, what was that? It just stayed flat and behaved. The trigger took a minute, then it stayed the same every press, like it refused to change on me. And somewhere in that second mag, it clicked. I stopped trying to catch it being mid and started treating it like it belonged there. That's why it's a need right now. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't ask you to work around it. It lets you work on you. Honestly, it's boring. No wow factor. That's the point. I kept loading mags, and I couldn't come up with a reason not to. January. Cold range day. The kind where your fingers don't feel like fingers. Mags feel like bricks. The timer sounds louder. Everybody pretends they're fine. I brought the Beretta 92 FS like it was a joke. Old gun. Big steel. Yeah, I watched the movies too. I figured I'd run a couple of mags, talk trash, move on. First rep, ugly. Fumbled the reload, hands clumsy. That safety decocker felt like it was placed by somebody who hated me personally. My first shot broke late, and I blamed the Beretta because blaming the gun is cheaper than admitting I was the problem. Then I looked down the line. Modern compacts snapping hard. Guys chasing their sights like they were swatting flies. Hits walking off steel. Little embarrassed laughs. Cold hands were exposing everybody. Out of pure spite, I went back to the 92 FS. And then my hit started stacking. Clean, boring, repeatable, and it hit me. I wasn't fighting the gun anymore. I was finally catching up to it. That's the part I didn't like. Because when everything else starts falling apart, your grip, your hands, your confidence, this thing stays steady. It doesn't ask for perfect. It just keeps you in the fight. Still looks like a brick. Carrying it all day sucks. But it made me wonder something I don't like. If the old 92 can make me look that competent, what the hell does number 1 do? Last month, Tuesday night, I ducked into an indoor range because the weather outside sucked and I didn't feel like fighting wind. You know those lanes where everything feels a little wrong? Lights too bright, then too dim. Fan noise in your ear. The floor sticky. Even the target track sounded tired. I grabbed a Grand Power K 100 off the rental wall like it was a fork. No expectations, just give me something in 9. First few shots felt off, not bad, not malfunction, just like the gun was doing something behind my back. The cycle didn't have that normal snap. It didn't slap my hands the way my brain expected. The timing felt late, like the recoil was taking a weird route home. So I did what everybody does when they don't want to blame themselves. I blamed the lane. Switched lanes, same feeling. Switched ammo, same feeling. Slowed down, sped up, same feeling. Then I stopped fighting it. I let the gun do whatever the hell it was doing, and my hits tightened up like somebody turned the lights on. And that's when it hit me. The lane wasn't off. The ammo wasn't off. The rental wasn't worn out. The K100 wasn't weird. My expectations were, and this is reason. It's a need for some people right now because when everything feels off, this thing still finds center and makes you stop blaming ghosts. Wrong case. I didn't notice until I was already there. Parking lot, gear on the bench, other guys loading mags like it was normal. I pop my latches expecting my usual setup, and there's the Ruger RXM staring back at me. Not my main, not my dialed gun. Just something I grabbed recently because people wouldn't shut up about it. No time to swap, no backup, and I wasn't about to be the guy packing up early like I forgot how to shoot, so I ran it. Cold, first rep, no warm-up, kind of start where you normally burn a second, just feeling out the grip, hunting the controls, doing that stupid little mental checklist mid-draw. That didn't happen. Grip landed where it needed to. My thumb didn't get lost. Nothing on the gun made me stop and think. It just let me shoot, like it already knew my hands. That's what got under my skin. Because when you're rushed, when your head's busy, when you grab the wrong damn case, a picky gun punishes you. It makes you pay for every second you didn't prep. This one didn't. I finished the run, looked down, and realized I still hadn't figured it out. I never had to. Then I grabbed the next one and immediately missed this. Lint. That's what I noticed first. A little gray fuzz packed into the cylinder window of a J-Frame 642, like it had been living in somebody's pocket for months, and nobody felt the need to apologize for it. This was a couple of weeks back after a class. Guys leaning on tailgates, targets getting stapled, everybody doing that post-range, what do you actually carry dance. You ask 10 shooters what they keep as a backup, and you get 10 different opinions until you don't, because the same answer kept showing up from the quiet ones. Small revolver, 642, no hype, no speech, just a guy pulling it out like keys. Another dude taps his pocket like, same. And that's when my brain started fighting itself, because 5 shots and a long trigger sounds like a bad plan until you watch who keeps picking it anyway. One guy drops his main pistol on the bench and it lands with a clack. Then he lifts the 6.42 and it's basically weightless. He doesn't check anything. No mag seated, no slide, no status ritual. It's just there. He dry presses it once, slow, heavy, and the cylinder rolls like it's bored. That's the whole point. Backups aren't about performance. They're about certainty. A gun that sits forgotten until the day you need it, and it doesn't ask questions first. And then I made the mistake of thinking the next backup I tried would feel just as certain. It didn't. Lint. That's what I noticed first. A little gray fuzz packed into the cylinder window of a J-Frame 6.42, like it had been living in somebody's pocket for months, and nobody felt the need to apologize for it. This was a couple of weeks back after a class. Guys leaning on tailgates, targets getting stapled, everybody doing that post-range, what do you actually carry dance. You ask 10 shooters what they keep as a backup, and you get 10 different opinions until you don't, because the same answer kept showing up from the quiet ones. Small revolver, 642, no hype, no speech, just a guy pulling it out like keys. Another dude taps his pocket like, same. And that's when my brain started fighting itself, because 5 shots and a long trigger sounds like a bad plan until you watch who keeps picking it anyway. One guy drops his main pistol on the bench and it lands with a clack. Then he lifts the 6.42 and it's basically weightless. He doesn't check anything. No mag seated, no slide, no status ritual. It's just there. He dry presses it once, slow, heavy, and the cylinder rolls like it's bored. That's the whole point. Backups aren't about performance. They're about certainty. A gun that sits forgotten until the day you need it, and it doesn't ask questions first. And then I made the mistake of thinking the next backup I tried would feel just as certain. It didn't. I didn't want to be a dot guy. Too many systems, plates, screws, batteries, guys acting like they invented shooting because they bolted glass to a slide. I liked irons because they didn't need an explanation. A couple months back, range day. Buddy shows up with a dot and a big mouth. He's talking loud enough for the next lane to hear. Running drills like he's teaching a class nobody asked for. People start drifting over anyway. That's the part that always bugs me. Confidence draws a crowd, even when it's annoying. He slides a pistol across the bench. SAR9 Gen 3 already mounted. Run it. I already had my complaint loaded up. Budget dot gun. Probably loses 0. Probably feels cheap. No warm-up. I draw and press. And the first string comes out cleaner than it should have. Not after I got used to it immediately. The dot just sits there. No hunting, no thinking. My brain stays on trigger and target instead of doing that little front sight sermon in my head. That pissed me off. Because now the decision gets simple. If a pistol feels this locked in with a dot, optics stop being a project and start being a normal choice, especially for regular shooters who don't live on the range. I still didn't love how fast it worked. Anything that easy makes me suspicious. Then I picked up the safe answer, and it made this feel like the warm-up. I tried to move on from the Glock 19 Gen 5 more than once. Got sick of being the guy who always circles back to the same boring answer. There are prettier guns, smoother guns, stuff that feels more advanced the second you touch it. So I switched. Carried different setups, bought into that whole upgrade idea like it meant something, and for a while, it worked. New gun honeymoon is real. You shoot it once, it feels great. You start talking like you've evolved. Then real life shows up. Not a cinematic failure, just 1,000 little tax bills. A holster that doesn't fit right. Mags that are never in stock. A part you have to order. A trigger that's fine until you're tired. A dot that needs a recheck. Little inconsistencies that keep stealing attention when you already don't have any to spare. That's when I'd reach back into the safe and grab the 19 again. Not proud. Almost annoyed. Like, fine. Just for today, and everything went quiet. No relearning, no rituals, no, let's see if this likes this ammo. It just sat in my hand like it belonged there and did what I needed without asking me to manage it. That's why I keep ending up back there. Not because it's exciting, because it's the reference point. Everything else turns into a project eventually. And I hate that this is the answer, but I keep coming back anyway. These weren't the prettiest. They were the ones that stayed solid when I got tired, rushed, distracted, and sloppy. A couple of them still bug me. I kept them anyway. That says more than any spec sheet. Some guns make you feel good. Some guns make you honest. If your favorite didn't show up, it probably failed the only test that matters to me. The one where you stop defending it and just run it. No speeches. No coping. So tell me straight, what's the handgun you trusted when you were sweaty, off balance, and you didn't get a warm-up? And what's the one you wanted to love, but it kept giving you little reasons not to? I'm Steve. Argue in the comments. I read the ugly stories.